Okay, so hi everybody and welcome to our Google Hangout for Civil Engineering. My name's Sean and I'm going to be hosting the Hangout for today. This is your chance to ask any questions that you might have relating to life as an LJMU student. It's an opportunity for you to ask questions of staff, and we're also lucky enough to have a student from our civil engineering programs here with us today. We're inviting anybody that's watching the Hangout to submit questions to us. There are a few different ways that you can submit your questions, so you can either post directly to the question app on the right-hand side of this Hangout, or you can tweet us using the LJMU chat hashtag, or lastly, you can send us an email using communications@ljmu.ac.uk. We'll do our very best to answer as many of your questions as we can, but if for any reason we can't answer your questions or we need some more information, or we run out of time, then we'll respond to you directly after the Hangout's finished today. If you need to speak to our international admissions team for anything, you can contact them directly by email using the email address int-admissions@ljmu.ac.uk, and the team will come back to you as quickly as possible. So I'm going to start with a few introductions in terms of who we have with us here today. So from the admissions team in the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, we have one of my colleagues.
My name is Paul, and I'm Admissions and Information Officer for the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, which obviously includes the subject area we covered today, which is the Department of Civil Engineering.
Thanks, Paul. And from our Student Advice and Wellbeing team.
Hi, my name is Caroline O'Rourke. I'm the International Student Advisor here at John Moores University.
And lastly, we have a student representative here with us today. Could you say hello, Amir?
Hello, my name is Amir. I'm today representing the Civil Engineering Department at Liverpool John Moores University. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask.
Fantastic, thank you. So we'll start with a few questions then. We've had a lot of questions already submitted. Lots of international students tend to have questions around what they need to do when they get to the UK or the support that's available to them. So that seems like a good place to start. So Caroline, I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about the types of support that are available to students when they arrive at Liverpool John Moores University.
Yes, sure. We understand that moving to a new country to study, it's an exciting but also a challenging experience. So we want your time here to be as enjoyable as possible. And that's why our Student Advice and Wellbeing team are here for you every step of the way that you're here at Liverpool John Moores University to offer advice and guidance on a wide range of issues, such as visa and immigration matters, study support, any accommodation queries you may have, any financial queries, or disability issues. My role as International Student Advisor is to offer specialised advice to international students on many issues, but I specialise in immigration and visa issues. So if you do have any questions regarding your visa, or if you have any questions regarding visas for your dependents, visit visas or short-term student visas, then I would be the person that you would contact.
Fantastic, that's great, thank you very much. So Paul, we know what to do in terms of support when students get here, but when will courses actually start for students looking to join us in September?
Okay, so the week commencing Monday the 19th of September is the start of the Welcome Week, Induction Week. So there will be enrolment taking place at that week, and induction activities where you'll mix with fellow students on your programme, you will meet the programme staff, and have icebreaker activities just to get settled into university life. Formal teaching will start week commencing Monday the 26th of September on campus. So obviously then teaching and the timetables kick in from Monday the 26th.
Fantastic, thank you. So Amir, your perspective on this is probably a little different in that you chose to actually come and study at Liverpool John Moores University. Could you tell us a little bit more about what led you to come and study with the university and why you chose LJMU as the place for you?
Well, there are so many reasons for choosing this university and Liverpool in particular. One of them, like cost of living. Their cost of living, I will make a comparison across the UK. And in my point of view, the best city to live in is Liverpool in terms of cost of living. And while LJMU in particular, I have an experimental work, so I have written a proposal and submit to my supervisor, and to make sure every single piece of that I need is available in the lab, and we agreed on that. And some of them are not available, and just write to the dean and then get them ready in the next few days. So everything I need in terms of experimental is available here, and there are also a support in terms of simulation. I'm working now with another staff member of LJMU, and he's supporting me in terms of finance and simulation. So it's a great pleasure for me to be here as a PhD student.
Fantastic. So you were able to source specific equipment to support your studies that perhaps wouldn't have been available to you otherwise?
Yes, all of as I said, all of staff, all the materials, and sometimes even my supervisor yesterday he worked with me and learned me how to do like a new device just to get in the lab. So we work together like as a team, not just me as a student. So both of us working, and he's very supportive for me in terms of my program as a PhD student.
Fantastic, thanks Amir. So lots of reasons there then to perhaps choose to study at LJMU, particularly for international students coming to the UK. Obviously things like accommodation are very, very important. So we have a question here about booking accommodation. Caroline, could you tell us a little bit more about how students would book accommodation at LJMU?
Yeah, sure. Just firstly, all new students, including new international students, are guaranteed a high-quality room in one of the LJMU approved halls, and they're all listed on our website. Most accommodation will come with a private ensuite bathroom, but you can get flats with shared bathrooms that come at a cheaper cost. If you do wish to book a room in any of the halls, you should send us an accommodation request as soon as you've been made an offer. If you are going into halls accommodation, it's important to remember that you are required to pay a whole year's rent prior to moving into the accommodation, unless you are able to provide a UK-based guarantor. If you would rather rent in the private sector, Liverpool John Moores, along with other universities in Liverpool, fund Liverpool Student Homes website. It's an organisation that helps students to find good quality private accommodation.
Fantastic, thank you. So lots of accommodation options available through the university, and accommodation is obviously one of the major costs. As Amir mentioned, the cost of living in Liverpool is perhaps significantly cheaper than some other cities in the UK. One of the other major costs associated with studying at university is, of course, tuition fees. Paul, could you tell us a little bit more about tuition fees in the civil engineering area?
Okay, so typically for civil engineering courses at undergraduate level and also postgraduate level, the fee for the upcoming academic year is £12,360. For other courses in other faculties and departments in the university, it does differ, and I'd ask you to check out the fact files for each course on the LJMU course search page, where you can find the individual course costs. But for civil engineering, undergraduate and postgraduate, the upcoming academic year, international students, it's £12,360.
Brilliant, thanks Paul. And Amir, from your point of view, you touched on this a little bit earlier, but we've had another question in terms of settling into life in Liverpool. How do you find the city? Are there lots of things for you to do? Was it easy for you to make friends when you came to a new city in a new country?
Well, thanks for the question. It's quite easy for me. I have lots of friends here in Liverpool, in my university as a student, and also outside the university, like in gym and maybe in shopping stuff like that. And it's quite suitable, especially for families here in Liverpool to live. There are so many children centers. There are so many centers to support like native speakers. Like especially for my wife, she did so many courses, and also staff and all facilities are available and easy to access. People are helpful here, and everything we need so far is available and easy to access.
Fantastic. It's great to hear that you found it a friendly city, and I know the majority of those that travel to Liverpool do find it a friendly city. In fact, even the Queen was in the city today and was greeted by people at the train station, wanted to take photos with her. I'm sure she'd agree that it's a friendly city as well. So Just again to reiterate, we are willing to take and are able to take questions directly from you guys that are watching today. If you would like to submit any questions to us, you can either use the Q&A app on the right hand side of the Hangout, or you can tweet us using the hashtag LJMU chat. Alternatively, you can send us an email using communications@ljmu.ac.uk. So if there's anything that you would like to know, by all means, submit your questions to us. Moving on to some of those questions that have already been submitted. We talked a little bit about the support that's available, and Amir's highlighted that he felt very supported by the academic staff here. One of the many challenges for students coming from countries overseas relates to English language, and particularly English language support that they might need while studying their course. Caroline, can you tell us a little bit about the support that we offer for English language?
Yeah, sure. Within Student Advice and Wellbeing, we run free in-sessional academic English courses throughout the year to help non-native English speakers to achieve their full academic potential. The classes are available to all students, all international students, and the sessions, they're not formally assessed, so they don't carry any credit, but they're there just to support you and help you during your time here. Students can attend one or as many classes as they want during the week. They run as scheduled sessions, so timetable sessions, but also there is a drop-in service if you're not able to make one of those scheduled sessions. The classes cover English listening, speaking and pronunciation, as well as grammar and writing skills. If you do have any questions about study support, you can email our study support team at studysupport@ljmu.ac.uk.
Fantastic. Following on from that, we have a question that's been submitted regarding maths support as well, which is, I guess, particularly important for subjects like civil engineering and engineering-related subjects. Are there specific support sessions or support resources relating to mathematics within the university?
Yes, certainly. If you're experiencing a particular mathematics or maybe a statistics problem, or if you just require regular support throughout your course, we offer one-to-one tuition. We also offer targeted support to small groups throughout the year at different sites over the university. So for details about LJMU mathematics and statistics support, you can check out our website or again email studysupport@ljmu.ac.uk.
Fantastic, thanks Caroline. Paul, we have a question here relating to professional accreditation. Obviously we know how important it is for courses such as civil engineering to hold appropriate accreditation. Are the courses that are offered within the Faculty of Engineering and Technology accredited, and could you tell us a little bit more about that accreditation?
Okay, so the BEng and MEng programs for civil engineering are accredited. So BEng Civil Engineering, MEng Civil Engineering are accredited by the Joint Board of Moderators for the Institution of Civil Engineers, Institution of Structural Engineers, Institute of Highway Engineers, and also the Chartered Institution of Highways and Transportation. The degree is accredited as fully satisfying the educational basis for an incorporated engineer. It partially satisfies the educational basis for the Chartered Engineer CEng. A programme of accredited civil engineering will be required to complete the educational base for CEng. However, we have MEng Civil Engineering, which obviously goes up to master's level, which fully satisfies the educational base for the Chartered Engineer, which is CEng. Also, we need relevant work experience and a master's level degree, so that would be the MEng Civil Engineering if you were to study that. The degree can lead to the professional qualification of Chartered Engineer, CEng, and the equivalent European qualification as well.
Fantastic. So the key message there for anyone that's unsure is that the programmes do hold accreditation. If you've got any questions regarding accreditation, get in contact with us directly. You can email the admissions team using fet@admissions@ljmu.ac.uk. But the key thing to remember is that all of our degree programmes in that subject area do hold the appropriate accreditation. Amir, we've had a question here from someone who's looking to travel from overseas, asking what sort of advice you would give to students who are travelling to the UK perhaps for the first time and to study in Liverpool?
Well, thanks for the questions. The first thing is to, as a PhD student or as a master's student, to submit a proposal and get agreed with her or his supervisor first. And the other things to do is to do at least some preliminary for English course, some courses for primary levels, or to get IELTS at least 5 to apply for a Tier 4 visa. And because it's easy from inside UK, it's easy to apply for Tier 4 visa once it's either finished the English language course at university or to get an IELTS higher the required score, which is I think 6.5. So the other thing is like then that's why if you have a family, don't bring them with you. Don't it's not any trouble you will face in terms of English language, or if you have any children to register at school. It's quite easy. So this is my advice for you.
Thanks, Amir. Caroline, just following on from what Amir's just said there, could you tell us a little bit more about the visa requirements for students travelling to the UK and things that students might need to consider?
Yeah, sure. When you're applying for your Tier 4 General Student Visa, it's important to start thinking about what documents you need as soon as possible. If you are funding yourself or your parents are paying for you to be here, it's important to ensure that you've got the money in your bank account prior to arrival. Before you apply for the visa, you'll need to ensure that you have enough money for 28 days minimum to fulfil the maintenance requirements. So they're currently at £1,015 per month for every month of your course, up to a maximum of 9 months. So if you are here for a course of 3 or 4 years, you will only be required to show maintenance for 9 months. So that comes to £9,135 for living costs. You will need to show your tuition fees on top of that. And as I say, that money needs to be in your account for a minimum of 28 days. If you're using your parents' bank statements, then you will need to show your birth certificate as well. If that's not in English, you'll need to have it officially translated, and you'll need to have a letter from your parents to say they are happy for you to use their funds. If you're a sponsored student from a government or international company, or perhaps university, then you'll need to have a letter to document that. There are other documents that you will need, but depending on your circumstances will depend what documents. So if you do have any questions about the visa, if you give our international advice team an email, their email address is internationaladvice@ljmu.ac.uk.
Fantastic, thank you. And Paul, just picking up on something else that Amir mentioned there around English language requirements, could you just tell us a little bit more about how the requirements might differ between undergraduate and postgraduate level?
Okay, so for civil engineering undergraduate, students would need to achieve an IELTS score of 6 overall, with at least 5.5 in each component. Going up to postgraduate level, students would need to achieve a total score of 6.5 overall, with at least 5.5 in each component.
Fantastic. And sort of following on from that, obviously, to meet that level of English is very important for students to be able to get a CAS. So could you tell us a little bit more about when students that are watching us today might expect to receive a CAS from us?
Okay, so all students meet all the conditions of offer, and they would then receive an unconditional offer. We send an unconditional offer out via email along with an acceptance form, which students would need to complete and send back to int-admissions@ljmu.ac.uk to accept the offer. Once the offer has been accepted, then we are in a position to issue a CAS. The earliest we can issue a CAS letter is from 3 months to course start date, which we are now approaching.
Fantastic. So the key thing is to return that acceptance form as soon as you can, once you've met the conditions of your offer, and then we can hopefully move forward to assign your CAS. If you've got any questions, you can contact the international team directly using int-admissions@ljmu.ac.uk. We've had a question from someone who's looking to join the university in September around what will happen when they arrive here in the UK. So Paul, could you tell us a little bit more about what students can expect when they arrive, whether there'll be someone perhaps there to meet them, and then what happens next?
Okay, so we understand it can be done arriving in a new country. So we are planning a meet and greet service at Liverpool and Manchester airports. So students will be met in the arrivals hall and shown to nearby Accreditation. The transportation will then take you safely to your accommodation in Liverpool City Centre. the booking for the dates are going to be between the 15th and the 18th of September, as I said, from Manchester Liverpool Airport. There will be an online form which will be available on the international student webpage on the LJMU website shortly. The online form would need to be completed by the 11th of September for the details to be collected. But as I said, please check the international student webpage on the LJMU website in the coming days and weeks, and the information can be there. In terms of then when students are settled in, on the 19th and 20th of September, there will be a Welcome to LJMU event in St George's Hall, where there will be a stand from several departments from the university, student union will be present as well, just showing what the university can offer. And there will be presence from the international support team. Caroline's team will be there, asking and answering any questions that students may have.
Thanks, Paul. So we know what happens in terms of when students initially arrive in the UK and what they can expect. And we've had a question from a student who's interested to find out a little bit more about the facilities at the university, particularly related to civil engineering. Could you tell us a little bit more about your experience of the department, perhaps the facilities that you have access to and the laboratories and things like that?
Well, sure. In the Department of Civil Engineering, we have structural lab, and we have soil mechanic and foundation lab. We have environmental lab. So I am currently now working on both experimental and soil. My subjects are based on soil, but I am working on concrete as well. So all the stuff that I need are available, and most of them are quite new, and technicians are qualified, so they can help and support me whatever I need from them. We have some new experimental devices arrived a couple of days ago from Italy. We have all facilities like consolidations, like about staff about English, staff about direct chair. I have built my models, so they are working with me. I mean, the technicians, even my supervisor at sometimes. All the facilities are available in civil engineering now. And there are some special. You are just talk to either supervisor or technicians to get them order in place for you. This is all facilities available currently available at LJMU Civil Engineering Department.
Fantastic, thanks, Amir. Paul, we have a question from a potential undergraduate student who's interested to know whether it's possible to study a postgraduate course at LJMU, perhaps after completing their undergraduate studies. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, so yes, this is a popular question that we have, especially students on the BN Civil Engineering want to studying onto the MSc. So we have an internal application process for the MSc course here. It is found on the course file on the website. In the top right-hand corner, there's an apply directly. The application form will come to the admissions team, and then we can obviously go through the application process as quickly as possible. One thing to bear in mind is that LJMU graduates are eligible, and civil engineering graduates in particular as well, are eligible for the LJMU Alumni Award. So anyone, a recent LJMU graduate, undergraduate, can get a 20% reduction off their postgraduate tuition fees. It used to be 15%, this year is 20%. So it's obviously a really rewarding award that the university has implemented. So yeah, if you search in the LJMU webpage for LJMU Alumni Awards, more information can be found, and there's more information about eligibility details there as well.
Fantastic. So we know that students can go on to study further with us once here within the university. How about things like careers? Is there advice and support available within the faculty to help students to know what avenue they're open to them?
Yes, so Firstly, we have a career zone in the Faculty of Engineering and Technology. So we have our World of Work staff housed there Monday to Friday, and they have drop-in sessions. You can make appointments with them as well. They can look at your CVs. They can help you with your interview skills. So they will have mock interviews to refine your technique. We also have close ties with industry as well. So we have industry figures from large civil engineering related companies coming in, speaking to students, speaking to our academics. We have an employment engagement officer for the Department of Civil Engineering who sends out regular job advertisements to students. We are currently getting inundated with advertisements being sent to us by large UK and international engineering companies. So we have a process in place to share this with our students, because one of the key areas of our faculty is employability and making sure our students have the skills to make the next step after graduating.
Fantastic, thanks Paul. And just one final question for me from a potential student who's still considering whether to come to LJMU or not. Whether you feel that LJMU was the right choice for you, and if you had to choose one reason that Liverpool and LJMU was the right choice, what would that be?
Well, one for choosing as a supervisor. The main reason for me to come here is to get agreed with my supervisor first. The second thing is, as you mentioned, as some of my colleagues mentioned, the tuition fees. I take some of 3 or more, some of the universities, and LJMU, I think 12,000 plus some to the tuition fees if you have a lab. So this is the second thing for me. Yeah, for me, as I said, the supervisor is the main reason for me to be a PhD student as LJMU.
Fantastic, thanks Amir. So that's all the questions that we have for now. You can continue to ask us about any aspects of life as an LJMU student, living in Liverpool, or questions about your course specifically. You can email either the International Admissions team using int-admissions@ljmu.ac.uk, or alternatively, you can contact the faculty directly using fetadmissions@ljmu.ac.uk. I hope you found this session useful and enjoyable, and we will be making these Hangout videos available via our YouTube channel. You can come back and watch these again at a time that suits you, and as I mentioned earlier, you can contact us if you have any further questions. Thanks to all of you that have taken the time to watch, and thank you for taking part, and we look forward to hopefully seeing all of you when you arrive at LJMU in September. Thanks again. Bye.